Chapter 5: Hospital Visits for Physiotherapy and Rehabilitation. As I continued hospital visits for physiotherapy, I found out that many people were affected by the same infirmity, but different degrees according to how big or small one's brain was damaged when they fell sick. There was one lady, Nancy, whose paralysis was on the right-hand side, but hers was not as severe as mine. Although we got sick almost the same time, her limbs were moving and she was recovering very well, but my prognosis was very slow. Although it was not showing, my limbs, arm, fingers, leg, toes were static. I discovered that some therapists were avoiding those of us who were affected more than others. One day Nancy asked me whether I do cry and feel lonely because of the condition. I answered her that I never cry, feel lonely or discouraged because I am saved and I trust God and thank Him for whatever happened to me, since God knows it and He has a reason for it. After all, I'm alive and I know many people suffer stroke and die suddenly. But that did not happen to me, and so God had a purpose for me to live in this condition. Nancy got shocked when she heard my testimony and asked me how I can thank God when He has let me get this kind of affliction, and insisted that I should not thank Him or give such a testimony. As the days went by, I continued telling her how good it is to get saved, but she reasoned that since the condition in which we are in, we are already in hell and not waiting for another hell, then there is no need because we are already in hell. I told her, I'm not in hell and will never go to hell myself since my life is hidden with Christ. Last time I saw her, she told me she had already started going to church, which she never did before. I hoped if I would ever see her again, she would have a testimony. I never saw her again, but another lady told me that she passed on. I discovered most of the patients got encouraged when the other patients gave testimonies. Some of the hospital staff used to give their testimony also, and that encouraged the patients greatly. Let your hope keep you joyful. Be patient in your troubles and pray at all times, says Romans chapter 12, verse 12. This scripture helped me not to shed any tears as Nancy inquired. She had told me that she usually cry because of the infirmity. Otherwise, I do cry spiritually to my God when I'm on my knees. Sometime I got very well treated, especially by students, some of who were saved and were very eager to help patients and get to know more in their practicals. After 4 years of tiresome journeys to and from the hospital without any change, I decided to stop going and ask God to take over and restore my health and strengthen my left-hand side, limbs, and I'm still waiting for Him to do something about my foot and arm. Otherwise, I occasionally do some exercise with the gadgets I have at home, with all the hope that if it is God's will, He will restore my health fully someday. When I saw many rich, affluent people having been affected, I remembered the scripture which says that God is not a respecter of persons. And when some of those people refused to do what the student therapist told them, the students said that they were selfish and proud because of their wealth. That sounded cruel, but then I just kept quiet. At MP Shah, I thought some Asian men were taunting me when they jokingly told me, "You must be wealthy, girl. Otherwise, how comes you got wealthy man's affliction?" They said this is a rich man's disease.